Hello? Hello. It's salmon time. Connecting to internet. Alright on time, kid. I got work for you. If you give Mr. Grizz a voice like that, he sounds much less like a good boss. I'll put it that way. So, Ruins of Arc Polaris. It's not my favourite stage. I don't really have a favourite stage for salmons, but I don't like this one as much as I like the others, I think. And I have the Dark Tetra Dualies. I actually tried to do a recording just now, but the microphone wasn't working because it was plugged into the USB port that the microphone didn't like for some reason. So that's why my rank is 380 rather than 400. It's because I lost the first one, a crew wipe on the first wave, because of how unbalanced the team comp was. And just how simply bad it was for salmons. But anyhow, we are here now, and it is high tide. I do not like high tide. But, alas, salmons is salmons, and salmons can offer you a good reward. Substrafing isn't really that useful when you can't really collect the eggs properly. How about you? Salmon. Fish shouldn't have weapons. And before anyone says squids and octopuses or octopi or octopodes or whatever are to an extent fish, I'll say I don't agree with you because I don't agree with you. This is actually rather successful. I have some rather good teammates. I like it when I have good teammates because that means I have good teammates. And good teammates make for good teammates. Especially when they booyah. And booyah back as well. That always feels good. It's full question marks, so we will be using whatever weapons that Mr. Grizz decides on a whim to give us. And this time, I have the Splattershot Pro, and I like that weapon because who doesn't? If you don't like the Splattershot Pro, then sure. Also, looks like my teammate knows that you can use the Explosher, or the Explosure, however you pronounce it. Can actually decimate flyfish rather easily. Though it's probably not nearly as good on steelheads, considering the way it attacks. More straightforward weapons like the Splattershot Pro or the Splashomatic or the Nautilus do better against the steelhead. Salmon Run. A game mode where you kill fish and steal their children. Isn't that nice for a kid's game? Nintendo. I don't have a lot to say at the moment, but I do have some things to say, so I think I shall say the things that I have to say. Of which there aren't a lot. I don't have a script, and I never will have a script, because scripts are for those who can fall for Jedi mind tricks. Did I say Jedi? I meant Jedi. In other words, the weak-minded. The weak. I'm not weak, and so therefore I do not script things where I do not need to script things. Ooh, the Range Blaster. I don't like the Range Blaster. And low tide. The Range Blaster attacks very slowly. That's why I don't like it. It's like Squiffer, but it can do splash damage, I think. But it has a lot less range, so... I don't know, I'll have to do a test in the room of train to confirm my suspicions. But for now, that's just all they are, suspicions. Though I suppose at least I have a weapon that is excellent for dealing with stingers. If you hear some splatty out there calling them stingrays, they're wrong, they're called stingers. Because the stingray is a special, the stinger is an evil spawn of Satan. Who even other salmonids fear. I don't know how true the other salmonids fearing them bit is, but the bit I said about them being evil spawn of the devil is rather true and accurate. You got it from me first, folks. Stingers are demonic. They may not look it, but yeah, I think you get the point. I don't like stingers. At least it's wave 3 and I won't have to deal with many more of them. At some point I'm going to do a series where I methodically go through all the different types of weapons and try all their variants in turf. It's going to be TIT, Try and Turf. That'll make for funny titles. But I'm not making this channel to get it monetized, so... Monetized. I hear so many different pronunciations of many different words because YouTube and various different places people come from. In fact, I've even heard pronunciation being pronounced pronunciation, so... I can't tell anymore whether or not I'm getting things right, or if it's just regional dialect that various people do different things with. Oh, it looks like I talked during the lobby bit, so I won't cut this lobby bit out. That's fine. I don't have to cut all the lobby bits out. I'll just cut the ones out where I remember not to talk during them. Oh, I have a slosher. No wonder nothing was happening when I was holding down the shoot button. This isn't a weapon you shoot, it's a weapon you throw. Except it's not really a weapon you throw, you sort of slosh it, which is a weird way of attacking. Fundamentally, I suppose. I don't know. Using a bucket as a weapon is a strange thing in and of itself. I tried to use the soda slosher in Turf War once and it didn't go too well. I think I did it a few times. Come on, where's the blaster? Epic plays from me, I'm an epic gamer. I threw a bomb into a flyfish whilst I was nearly on top of the flyfish. Isn't that pro gamer move? It looks like both me and my teammates' bombs just went into the middle of the flyfish, his two cannons, and did nothing. I hate it when that happens. Don't you hate it when that happens? Oh dear. Half of our team is dead. I don't know where they are though. Isn't it weird that a bucket has more range than a lot of guns in this game? Oh dear. I think I'm going to lose this on wave 1 due to both the weapon choices of Mr. Grizz and maybe my teammates. Also, I'm not too big of a fan of the regular bucket. Or any bucket, for that matter. Especially the Tri-Slosher. I hate going up against the Tri-Slosher. Then again, I hate being killed by anything. In any game. So, yeah, there's a lot of RNG in this. Because the thing is, when it's an algorithm deciding the weapons, it has certain parameters to go by. Like, I think it's something like one backline weapon and a few, like, at the very least. Whereas this, like, currently the longest range thing we have is a Splattershot Pro, and that's not got very much range compared with, say, a Jet Squelcher. Which I like using in Salmons, by the way. Yeah, that was bad. Do you think you should be able to run over regular chums and that with the carbon? I think you should. Oh, who's dead already? The carbon doesn't paint very well unless you're rolling with it. And even then, it paints behind you, so... But then again, you do roll along with it, and you go fairly fast. Not nearly as fast as with the ink brush, which someone else actually has at the moment. Someone called it Darth Balls, which sounds very, very inconsiderate of the dark side of the Force. Even though, fair enough, be disconsiderate of them because they're baddies and whatnot, but still, being rude isn't nice. Okay, quick. And in the last 3 seconds or 2 seconds, I'd say, we've won just by the quota. And that just goes to show how imbalanced things tend to be when it's randomly generated. For instance, right now it's 2 Splattershots and 2 Grizzco charges. Like, I guess that's alright, but it's much better normally. Much more balanced. Then again, the Grizzco charger is rather an unbalanced weapon. Anyway, so... Oh yeah, you do consume ink whilst in that. So, my first video was kinda not great. Like, I tried to record it at one point. Like, as in, a first video, but then I had really bad mic settings. So I sounded all mumbly and quiet in the first bit, and then in the second bit, I wasn't all that better. So I re-recorded it. I gave up on the original footage because, yeah. It really wasn't a use of valuable time that I did with it. It's not as though anything really is happening. I don't have really much things else to do with my time. In fact, if I didn't decide to start a YouTube, I'd probably just be playing this game normally and watching other YouTube videos that aren't made by me. Come on, go in the cannons. And I missed that. I can't believe this. I can't believe you've done this. That could have gone on much better. I almost wonder if my teammates knew what the cannons did. Hopefully this time we'll get a more balanced set of weapons, or better teammates. Oh brilliant, the dynamo. This was the weapon I had when we first lost on the first wave, which was the first thing that I tried to record, but the mic wasn't working, so you didn't see it. At least the dynamo is somewhat good for painting long things of turf, I guess. Very ink hungry though. Playing it normally, I'd run a whole heap of ink saver main, and you can't exactly do that in Salmons. You know, how cool would it be if you could actually use like normal gear in Salmons? Also, it just took me 3 dynamo swings to revive that person, which is really bad. My dream is to someday do some sort of video with one of the big Splatubers that most Splatoon people know of, like Viantastic and whatever. Yeah, that wasn't a good situation for me to be in with the dynamo. Also, the worst thing that can ever happen to you in Salmons is not losing. It's being revived instantly as you press the upwards thing, and so people think you're saying this way when you were trying to say help. That's worse than losing, worse than going back to apprentice rank. That's worse than... Not quite worse than having to go up against a stinger. Not much is worse than that. Someday I think I'll run a set with the Aerospray PG, I believe it is, the one with Booyah Bombs, so that I can just spam Booyah Bombs, and that would be fun, because Booyah Bomb spamming. Imagine an Aerospray with Tentamissiles, and how brutal that would be to go up against. And how, like there's a Sploosh and an N-Zap that have Tentamissiles. But, like, they're close, but not quite the same as an Aerospray when it comes to simple gaining of special. Did he just move whilst under his umbrella shield? I have not known that to happen ever. I suppose one of the other Salmons was pushing him. Imagine a Grisco charger in ranked, and how awful that would be. It'd be like a Bamboozler with a whole lot of MPU, except I believe it would be always a one-shot. And it's just your tap shot, and the opponent's dead. All you'd need is aim. But then again, the Grisco Charger doesn't one-shot steelheads, so I don't know. It might not it might not deal 100 damage. But if it does, and would do so in a regular mode like ranked, that'd be absolutely brutal to go up against, and nobody would want it to be in regular battles. Goodness me, I've got 20 minutes of footage already. Wow. Time goes fast when you're playing Salmon Run. Also, isn't it funny how when you jump, the weird accuracy things happen with with most weapons, but not when you're falling from having stepped off an edge. Whereas with charges and splatlings and that, the slower charge penalty is put on you for falling, but as well as jumping. I find that a bit odd. Also, quick side note, MPU is worthless on a blaster, and for the Try and Turf episode where I use a blaster, I will unfortunately have to unequip the Fierce Fish Skull, which is sad because that's what my channel name is about. But oh well, it is what it is. I'll probably have that iconic Darth Vader nose scene from Star Wars Episode 3 playing when I have to do that. Just because of the simple tragedy of it. Did you hear the tragedy of Darth Plagueis the Wise? In case you can't tell, I like Star Wars. Bomb rush time, because who doesn't like a good bomb rush? Answer to that is me, I don't like bomb rush. It can be useful in a normal thing, but not in salmons. Come on, Ink Brush. I don't know why, but whenever you have a party at the end of salmons, you always just tend to use your bomb launcher if you have it. I guess explosions are fun in the Splatoon universe. Well, I suppose I have enough stuff now to make a good length video. Due to the simple length of the shifts of Salmon Run, it tends to be a thing that you'd live stream, really, isn't it? I think it is. Once I get my head around live streaming and I have a significant number of subscribers, so I will actually know that there would be somebody watching, I think I would start streaming. They're dressed like Gigi, but they're not Gigi. So, I don't have an outro or anything, so,